Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2014 Top Cut Invitational. We're here on round number 3, the elimination round. The winner moves on. Loser goes home between Ross Cawthon and Takuya Yoneda. Joining me is Michael Pramawat. Pram, how you doing?
Doing really well. I'm really excited for this match. It, it's it's going to be an interesting match because Ross has like a little bit of a brew deck going on.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Ross always shows up with something a little crazy. That or he plays Blastoise. But looks like for this one, he's going with the crazy.
yeah. Ross's deck is actually really crazy. It has Raichu, Charizard, Kyurem, EX. Has Landorus, Mewtwo. It's just a whole like load of different Pokemon. It's really hit us left from the left field. So yeah.
Looks like he was trying to find like one type of Pokemon from every like popular deck. There's like, all right, I found the weakness for this one. Lander's weak to water. This one's weak to fire. And hey, there you go. There's Charizard.
Oh yeah, you can get in there for pretty much just wing attack. Ross does not play any fire energy, so it's just the fighting energy for Landorus and double colorless. And yeah, wing attack for 60 seems really good here.
Yeah, Yoneda actually opting to play the 60 HP Trubbish. Most people go for the 70 HP one. I'm not really sure why he plays the 60 HP one, maybe for the lower retreat, but that could be relevant here.
Yeah, I think it most likely must be for the lower retreat, especially because maybe bench damage isn't as big of a deal for their metagame. So maybe the 10 HP just isn't worth it, and they just rather have the one retreat costs.
Yeah, something a little weird that comes up on the 60 HP one against Excelgor is it actually gets knocked out by deck and cover. So normally with the Eviltal Garbodor deck, which he is running, you don't really have anything that gets knocked out right away. Like your 70 HP Trubbish would get knocked out by poison going back into their turn. So that actually comes up, but that's a different matchup.
All right, so we do see a computer search going here. He gets rid of Muscle Band and Ultra Ball. What do you think he's going to go here for? Maybe a double colors or something like that?
Yeah, it depends on what he has. I mean, there's all sorts of things he could grab. Verbank City Gym would be strong since, like I said, the Trubbish has 60 HP. Supporter, if he doesn't have one, maybe just an energy, maybe, who knows, maybe a Pikachu. It really depends on what's in his hand.
Yeah, I think Raichu would be really good in this matchup, especially because Takuya is running Eviltal, so it's like you can get a circle circuit off. You're in really good shape, and especially if they can't deal with it.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be kind of a feeling out process for both sides because they don't really know what the other is playing. Ross, of course, running all sorts of things, and Yoneda actually runs a little bit of an unconventional list for his Eviltal Garbodor deck. He runs all sorts of weird things. You know, he runs multiple Darkrai still. He's got a heavier Garbodor line. He even runs Hard Charm. So there's all sorts of weird stuff.
Card Charm's actually a card that's really interesting. Like the block 20, what do you think it like does specifically for certain matchups?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the specific use is for, but it's particularly good against Landers. Like if you can like block 20 from a Hammerhead on the bench or something like that. There's all sorts of different situations where just reducing by 20 can avoid a knockout. So I'll be interested to see if that actually comes up.
Oh, dirty play by Ross. I think he placed this computer search down just so he can Spirit to.
Oh my goodness.
Uh, that's pretty dirty. And he has the Verbank laser to boot, so
I'm
Ross
gonna
seems to be in pretty good shape here.
I'm gonna assume he grabbed the Verbank there. Computer searching for his Spirit Doom is probably not the strongest play in the world, but I mean, if you have it, he's already played his A spec. I think it's the ability is called Ceiling Scream. Nobody can play an A spec anymore, so he's basically saying, "All right, well, I played mine. You're not gonna get yours though."
Well, maybe we'll get to see a Hex Mirror and he'll be able to redraw a new hand later in the game.
Maybe. Of course, Spiritomb is targeted against Genesect, so you can block that G booster. It's a really big deal if Verzine Genesect can't do 200 damage. But we also see a Voltorb, so he's also running a Electrode. I have to wonder what Pokemon aren't in his deck.
What do you think of this Voltorb? I know, personally, I prefer the 60 HP Voltorb just because it has more HP, but what do you think of this one as opposed to the 60?
Yeah, generally I also go for the higher HP one. You never know when you can survive an attack, but hey, if you can flip heads and put what is it like 5 damage counters on something, that can win you a game sometimes. So I don't know. Plus, it can attack for 1 energy.
All right, we see an Escape Rope coming in and maybe an Oblivion Wing coming in soon. Hopefully Yoneda does have a supporter for this.
Not sure if he does, but the escape rope does save his Trubbish for now, and he will be able to do 30 damage. Not a very strong opening at all, but you got to think, well, what can Ross do? Nothing in his deck can immediately come down and hurt that Eviltal. It resists fighting, so Landorus isn't a good option. There's no Pikachu down, so Raichu can't come out. So even though he's in a bad spot, he'll be able to buy some time at least.
Well, we saw no real pressure come out of Yoneda on his turn, so Ross may be able to just sit back and actually Hex Mirror. That would be actually kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, like he could do it like 2 turns in a row and be okay.
Hey man, that Spiritomb's in trouble. If that gets knocked out, Unita gets his ace spec back.
Ooh, I wonder which one it is.
We actually saw in the first round it is Scramble Switch.
Ooh, that's spicy.
The Japanese players definitely preferring that Scramble Switch. We mostly see Computer Search and Dowsing Machine, G-Booster in the Virizion Genesect decks, but hardly ever Scramble Switch, especially not in Eviltal decks.
It does make a lot of sense though, because if you have a damaged Eviltal with a lot of energy on it, you can just move it on to another Eviltal and then you're good to go.
Yeah, it works wonders when it actually works, but most players opt to go for the more, like standard, consistent kind of route. But hey, we are seeing the Hexed Mirror. Look at that.
Ooh, that's nice. He gets 4 new cards.
Yeah, looks like 4 or 5. Can't tell how many Uneda has, but must be better than the 3 he just drew off Colress.
And he that also gives him the energy to retreat, so that'll be good.
I mean, certainly not an ideal situation attacking with a Spiritomb on the second turn of the game, but both of these players having a pretty bad start until did Yoneda just top deck a Juniper?
It looks like he did, and I think he's gonna need to play down his hand and high five someone soon.
I guess so. He does have a Muscle Band. He could play it down an Oblivion Wing for the final 50 damage if he wants. Seems like he also has an Ultra Ball, though. So I don't know if he has enough cards to play the Muscle Band and then the Ultra Ball. We'll have to see.
It really comes down to, I think, if he wants to play down the Absol or not. How important that card is to him. So it looks like it is not. And it looks like, yeah, he also gets rid of a Garbodor, so he doesn't think that that card won't be that useful in this one, too.
Yeah, discarding the Garbodor, that's a little questionable. I mean, you don't want that Trubbish to get knocked out by a Hammerhead, but there may be another Garbodor in his deck, so he's probably just going to Ultra Ball for a Darkrai or an Eviltal EX, maybe even that Bufalon he just went past. But discarding the Absol seems like the right move. Absol is horrendous against Landorus EX. Just a Hammerhead with a Muscle Band knocks it out, and that's just terrible.
What do you get here? Do you get the Eviltal or do you get the Darkrai?
I don't know. This can go either way. He doesn't have any energy in his discard for Oblivion Wing, so it seems like no matter what he takes, it's probably not going to be great. I might go for Darkrai just for the free retreat right now, and it looks like that's what he's going for.
Ooh, hopefully we can see some Night Spears coming in. I'm still worried about that Charizard. I think he's just going to come in there eventually. All it needs is a DCE at this point. It can just do like a massive 80 damage.
Yeah, Charizard not too threatening without fire energy, but hey, you never know when Wing Attack can come in handy.
Oh, a Boufflant. So that's going to be pretty useful, especially with Ross's Brew deck. It's like a bunch of EX Pokemon and then Raichu. So yeah, that'll be actually really useful for him.
I mean, look at this right now. We have 7 different Pokemon on the field. That's pretty silly. Normally we see pretty much the same things. Like people play 2 or 3 different kinds of Pokemon in their deck, but no, we had 7 in play and 7 different Pokemon. So all sorts of diversity going on here.
Hopefully, we'll get to see more. Maybe a Landorus come down. Maybe an evil tall EX.
I don't know. Ross could play anything. I wouldn't be surprised if he played down an Uno card.
You know what's interesting is the Voltorb could come into play here if if Yoneda decides to just stay with the evil tall. If Ross flipped the heads on that, that's a knockout.
Yeah, I think there's 60 on the Evil Tall right now from the laser. Um, he could actually, with an energy and a muscle band, I think it's tackle. He could knock it out. It's weak to lightning. So Voltorb could be getting some offense. But looks like Landers is going to get the energy instead.
Yeah, I think if he probably wants to keep the Voltorb available for its better half Electrode. Oh, but he just ends up passing.
Yikes. So very, very bad turn from Ross. He got an energy down at least, but otherwise not looking so hot. I will have to see what will Yoneda do here. Obviously, going for the Oblivion Wing is risky. If Ross flips heads on the Destiny Burst, I think that's what it's called, then Evil Tell goes down, which would be very, very sad for Yoneda.
Mhm. Also, if he attacks with the Bouffalon, then if Ross flips heads again, then Landers can come in. So Yoneda's in a little bit of a tricky spot here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he has any energy in his hand either. And it looks like he has N. I'm not sure if he has another supporter. N is obviously not what he wants to use. But Skyla, that's a little better. I mean, he probably wishes he had Garbodor out right now to not worry about Voltorb at all. But just a Skyla for a Juniper, that's not a very strong play here.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play the N for sure because he doesn't want Ross's hand shows definite weakness. Maybe if the one thing that Yoneda is missing is energy cards. It's like he just can't do anything right now.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. It looks like, oh man, is he going to retreat and let the Voltorb live? One of the other things here is even if the Voltorb doesn't activate and Yveltal survives, it'll go up to 120 from poison, and then it's just a 2-prize Hammerhead can knock out Trubbish as well. So seems like no matter what, he's kind of in a rough spot.
Yeah, this is where the Garbodor would have been very helpful. If he could have gotten the Garbodor, he has a Floatstone in his hand. He could just turn off the Voltorb and just been fine. But yeah, it looks like this decision maybe the second Garbodor is prized.
It might be. He's got an Ultra Ball in his hand. He's got all sorts of stuff. The biggest thing here is, like you said before, the lack of energy. If he had just a single energy, this probably wouldn't be too tough of a decision. He would just, retreat and maybe Gold Breaker, and that would be that. Voltorb would go down, and it doesn't seem like Ross has many cards to work with. Bouffalon would probably survive. I don't know. This is tough.
Yeah, Yoneda is doing some math real quick. He's just kind of figuring out his options. He does have the Scramble Switch in his hand, so
Ooh.
there is that option. But
He could scramble switch into Bouffalon.
if only he had a Muscle Band, maybe Scramble Switch into Trubbish and then like pound for like twice or something.
Looks like he's going to retreat into the Trubbish, and he may just send that up as a sacrifice here. So what Ross probably assumed was his sacrifice may survive.
Yeah, it looked like Yoneda just deemed attacking that Voltorb was just much too risky. There's just too many things that could go wrong, especially with the Evil Tall being poisoned. Uh, yeah, he just going for the safe conservative route.
We've seen a very unusual game so far. Neither player really doing what they want to do. We have Spiritomb and Voltorb, and I really don't know what's going on.
And there's still one of each different type of Pokemon card. I mean, we got like, there's been no second copy. Oh, there,
Oh.
Ross, you broke it.
So we are going to see a switch and a Hammerhead, so the Trubbish will go down. 60 HP. Coming back to bite him. We'll have to see what gets hit for 30, though.
Maybe you put it on the Bouffalon to start setting up a knockout, or maybe you put it on. Okay, so he puts it on the Evil Tall, and he's gonna set up a knockout there.
Yeah, I don't think anywhere else would have mattered, right? The Bouffalant, it would only take 10 because of the Boofer ability, so that doesn't really help your math at all. Hitting Evil Tall EX probably doesn't help. Darkrai doesn't help, so let's just put the regular Evil Tall up to 120 damage. Why not?
And Yoneda breaking the rule of one. But he does have a Juniper. Ooh, and a scramble switch.
There
Here
we
we
go.
go. This is uh this is the life we scramble switch lives for.
So he is going to scramble switch into that Evil Tall EX, getting the double colorless onto the active. It's not a very strong scramble switch. Of course, you would like to see a bunch of energy move and then get a big one-hit knockout with an Evil Ball, but looks like he's just going to settle for this, do an Evil Ball for 100. And I have to wonder if, just going with Gold Breaker would have been better.
Well, I think the Gold Breaker is just too risky for Yoneda. He's like, well, if a muscle band comes down and there it is, then you lose
Nope.
3 energy.
Yeah, we
So
need the band and the laser, but he had both, so that
yeah.
definitely would have backfired.
So he looks like in Ross is looking in pretty good shape here. He's going to be able to hammerhead again, maybe, or maybe he has a switch. He has an electrode online. He can maybe take another prize too. So he's in decent shape.
Yeah, Electrode actually is a really big deal. Now his draws are smoothed out a little bit. He gets at least 4 cards every turn, and he was working with pretty much nothing. So whether he drew that or got it off the prize, that was a really big deal.
Oh, and my boy Charizard, he's he's powered up. He's ready to go. This 80 damage from Charizard could be really relevant considering that that Eviltal is poisoned. If Yoneda wants the knockout, he has to Y Cyclone. It's like it could be relevant.
Yeah, I think Ross had like a weird decision. He had a double colorless and a muscle band, and he had a Juniper. So he's like, I want to play the energy, but this is pretty much worthless on Landorus, and it's worthless on Electrode. I don't think I'm gonna wing attack, but let's at least give myself the option.
One day that mighty Charizard will come in there, maybe.
I mean, sending up a 3 energy Charizard against a 3 energy Yveltal EX normally doesn't work out very well, so he's probably gonna wait until later to use it, but hey, at least at some point you do have 80 damage to work with.
Ooh, and an Ultra Ball coming in, and maybe he'll get a Pikachu. Ooh, and he plays a balloon line too, the Drift Bloom line. So
Yeah,
maybe that'll come in handy.
I think he only plays the Plasma one, the Derail one.
Hmm.
That's just kind of his. Well, he has an answer to every deck, it seems. That's his answer to Plasma decks. uh, just that one drifting balloon, drift bloom. So I don't think it'll be too relevant here. If he had the Shadow Steel one, maybe. But oh, Mr. Mime, that's definitely going to be relevant.
Yeah, Mr. Mime is really good versus Darkrai. It really keeps it in check. One of the ways Eviltal sometimes tries to clean up for maybe 4 prizes is a Night Spear, and Mr. Mime definitely shuts that off.
Yeah, so now the lack of Garbodor definitely coming into play here. Like the Electrode is big, the Mr. Mime is big, so maybe Yoneda is regretting sacrificing that Trubbish now.
It's really a tough call to make because you don't really know what's coming out of Ross's deck. It's like, how can you prepare for something like this?
The,
You just kind of have to make the best decisions you can at the time and hope they're right.
that's very true. So we are going to see a Dark Patch go on to the benched Eviltal. Looks like he's favoring that instead of, going on to the Darkrai. So you got to wonder if he's going to go for maybe a Laser and a Muscle Band. If he gets both, he can Oblivion Wing for the knockout. Otherwise, he may have to Y Cyclone, but that's pretty dangerous. Ross already taken 2 prizes, and if the Eviltal EX gets knocked out, that's 2 more prizes. So this is dangerous territory now. It seemed like in the beginning, Yoneda had pretty much the advantage. Ross had to attack with a Spirit Tomb, but now Landorus EX is showing why it's so good.
Yeah, still, even if Yoneda has to retreat just to get rid of the poison, it might not be that bad because the normal Eviltal also has resistance to fighting. So
Yeah. So we are just going to see the Oblivion Wing for 30. There's no Dark Energy in the discard pile, so unfortunately he cannot get any sort of energy acceleration. But DCE goes on to Bouffalot, so next turn we could see a Gold Breaker coming out.
Yeah, definitely. That'll Ross's field is filled with like juicy targets for Bouffalot too. So another Landorus would be good. That Charizard's a nice target, but he does have to be careful about the Pikachu on the bench. It's just going, hey, one day Circle Circuit is gonna get in there for 200 damage.
Yeah, the Raichu certainly going to be the difference maker here. If Ross can make good use of that Raichu, get a 2-prize knockout on that Evotal EX at some point, that'll be the difference maker. It could also, knock out pretty much everything on the field except for the Darkrai. So Raichu is going to be really probably what decides the game.
And speaking of Raichu, that Pikachu's already powered up, and maybe Ross gets a switch here and attacks with Raichu.
I'm sure that's what he's trying to go for here. If he can eliminate that Evotal from play. I mean, it is a little risky since the Evotal EX, there wouldn't really be an answer to it if his Raichu goes down. So I'm not really sure what his plan is. He may just settle for a Hammerhead, or I don't really know.
Right. Also, what's interesting is even though the Evotal EX has 60 damage on it, that Charizard with a laser could knock it out.
You're just waiting for that Charizard to do something.
I want it to happen so badly.
You just want to see a big wing attack.
It's ready. He's just waiting for his moment. He's looking for his opening, and he's just going to go.
All right, so there is a Hypnotoxic Laser hitting the Landorus. So an Oblivion Wing certainly will get a knockout this time around. I'm sure Yoneda would have preferred to knock out the Landorus last turn, but, having your field hit for, 30 and 30, it may not be particularly relevant.
He's also powering up the Darkrai, but Ross's Mr. Mime, like one of every Pokemon deck, is turning out to be really effective versus the Darkrai deck.
Yeah, we do see there's the Oblivion Wing, the Poison getting the knockout. So now Yoneda is down to 3 prizes. So he is in the lead right now, but you got to assume that, Ross will be able to get Raichu out and get a knockout here, and then we're going to see a very interesting finish, I think. It's anybody's game here.
Oh, for sure. Especially if Ross does not play N, Yoneda can possibly get out a Garbodor soon. He did draw a Trubbish off the prize. So he could be in good shape. Maybe get Darkrai back online to its full power.
Yeah, I think Yoneda is probably going to have to get like a big Evo Ball off, like a one-hit knockout on something, maybe the Charizard or the Landorus later, because we've seen other Pikachu. So a Raichu Swarm is certainly a possibility, and there's a big Colress for 8.
Yeah, both players playing heavy Colress numbers. They're just saying, hey, they're just kind of like a Cold War. They're just like, okay, we'll both fill our bench up, and then we'll both draw a lot of cards and see what happens.
Yeah, I think Colress is very beneficial in the slower decks, and both of these players have kind of a slow strategy. Even though Landorus is pretty aggressive, it takes a while to take all of your prizes since you're only doing 30 and 30. Yoneda's deck, not a typical Evotal deck, throws up a lot of non-EXs like those regular Evotals, tries to grind down the opponent. So when you see those kinds of styles, Colress gets better because the benches seem to get bigger.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the Raichu. Raichu kind of lives and dies on the bench size.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And did Ross actually find the Raichu? That's the big question here. If he did, he'll be able to get an easy Circle Circuit knockout. If not,
maybe a Nuzzle? Maybe Nuzzle. You can get that paralysis flip off, and maybe he gets a heads, and then if Yoneda doesn't have a switch card, well, maybe that just gives Ross another turn.
I gotta say, the turn 8 Nuzzle is not exactly in the game plan.
Oh, here it is.
Oh man, he's actually going for it.
Ah.
Oh. Looks like he does get Tails, so the Evotal is not paralyzed. You gotta think if he had a Muscle Band, maybe he would have gone for the Quick Attack instead. Heads would have been a knockout, but no, he had to go for the Nuzzle, and it's a Tails. And now Yoneda probably will be able to knock out Pikachu.
Yeah, definitely. He has a few options of how he wants to do this. He can attack Buffalon. He can attack with Evil Tall. Maybe he even has a laser. So there's a full. There's a couple ways he can go about this. It's just which one do you think is best?
Trying to figure that out. I mean, if you can power up Darkrai, maybe that's your best bet. It's the only thing that really isn't in danger of being knocked out. If you can't power up Darkrai, I think the second best is just Buffalon. Just go ahead and Gold Breaker. He's only a one prize attacker, and you don't really lose much. And it's actually going to be really tough to knock out. Right? Ross would need a Muscle Band, and not even a Laser would do it. Now he'd need Muscle Band, Laser, and Verbank with Landorus, or a Raichu, Double Colorless, another bench Pokemon, and a Muscle Band. So no matter what, this is going to be a difficult knockout.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely has to have the Verbank for. He could go Muscle Band Raichu.
Yeah,
That's also another option he can go, but
you'd also need another bench Pokemon. So I mean, he needs like 3 or 4 cards no matter what to knock out this Buffalon.
I think if there's one thing Ross has plenty of, it's Pokemon. It may not be the most ideal one, but he probably has something in there.
That's very true. I'm sure he runs plenty of Pokemon. We still haven't seen the Kyurem EX or whatever else he runs.
I would not be surprised if there was like randomly a Shaman EX energy switch and like a Rainbow energy.
Oh man, or like a Terrakion to retaliate or something like that. Who knows?
It's like Terrakion Silver Bangle, so he can one-shot Mega Kangaskhan.
Oh man. All right, so let's see. Ross really needs to respond here. It seems like this is going to be his big turn to do something. We do see
A,
another bench Pokemon, just a plain old Pikachu though.
a
Uh,
third is that a 3/3 line on Raichu?
yeah,
Wow.
3 Pikachu at least. I don't know how many Raichu he runs, but here we're going to see a big N. Yoneda will go down to 2, but Ross needs to draw Raichu and Muscle Band here. The odds not in his favor, but he does have Electrode to fall back onto.
Yeah, if he can get maybe an Ultra Ball, then he'll be in really good shape here because he'll be able to draw 3 cards off the Electrode and oh, I did see a Muscle Band. Did he get the Raichu?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. Oh
Oh,
my goodness.
he
There it
got
is.
both.
Raichu and Muscle Band. What a huge draw off that end to 4. Now he'll be able to knock out the Buffalon. I really think he needed this right here, but he still has to take 3 more prizes, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it really comes down to what Yoneda can do against this. Maybe I almost like it if he sent up the Darkrai instead and maybe went for the Evil Tall's other attack, and just kind of knocked out Raichu with that.
Yeah, I think he has to attack with Darkrai. Even Yveltal isn't a bad option. A Y Cyclone onto Darkrai wouldn't be bad, because you know what is Ross attack with then? He would have to attack with Charizard. That probably isn't gonna take him the rest of his prizes. So um, attacking with Yveltal EX or Darkrai, both are good options here. I think. Regular Yveltal, I don't like that.
Okay. What do you think Yoneda's game plan here for the end game is for the last 2 prizes? Maybe a Lysander?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if he has one, that's something you can go for. Of course, when you're at this low of prizes, you are worried about it getting hit by an end. So relying on a Lysander probably not the best option. So if I'm him, I'm probably trying to go for a knockout here, and just seeing, Ross doesn't have any great things lined up on the board. So, if Raichu comes up next, just you should have another attacker powered up that can do 90 damage. So taking 2 straight prizes seems like the best route.
Whoa, a hard charm. There it is.
Uh,
Ooh, a max potion.
ooh, I'm not sure how much I like that. If he's just going to Oblivion Wing, I think this is a very, very risky play. That allows Ross, if he wakes up, to play a Lysander and just knock out that Yveltal EX and go down to 1 prize. And we do just see the Oblivion Wing. What do you think of this?
Well, Ross stayed asleep, so really good. It was super risky, but if Ross stays asleep like he did, then it pays out because at the end of Ross's turn, the Raichu will get knocked out, and then you can just try and get another knockout that way.
Oh, but there we do see a Lysander. I think Ross plays a heavy amount of switch in this deck, and there we do see another one. So, not going to pay off at all. We're going to see the switch into Pikachu. Maybe if he finds another Raichu, it can be free retreat. Otherwise, just an attachment, and Pikachu can retreat for a single energy. Oh man, this is going to backfire big time.
Yeah, now Yoneda has to have a Garbodor and a Night Spear and a Lysander to win the game next turn. So he's going to be in a really tough position because he's also going to be at one. Ross is also going to be at one prize after this.
Yeah, this turned around very quickly, and this is just what Raichu can offer. That one-hit knockout on Evoltali X is so powerful, and it's exactly why we saw it played so much at the end of this format. And now, like you said, Yoneda has to respond here. He's in some big trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Like even if he goes Night Spear here, another Lysander could be the end of it for Ross. Who I don't even like. I'm not even trying to keep counts of Ross's card numbers because man, there's just so many different things. It's hard to keep track of it.
He could be playing 5 Lysander. We wouldn't know.
And Yoneda's definitely taking this time to try and guess what's left in Ross's deck, but it's tough.
I don't know if anybody can guess that. I don't even know if Ross knows what's left in his deck.
All right, so Yoneda does have enough. If he has a Garbodor in his deck, he can definitely get out Garbotoxin and Night Spear this turn. So he might be in pretty decent shape.
Yeah, he's going to play the Skyla, and it looks like it's going to be for a Lysander, so it's going to be a turn too late. But we did see the golden garbage in the deck. He does have the shiny Garbodor, so he can Ultra Ball for it if he wants to. He does have a tool in hand as well, but I don't see a Float Stone, and that's a little troublesome. If you don't have a Float Stone here, a Lysander could bring up your Garbodor, and you might just be stuck, and you just eventually lose. So I don't even know if he wants to put a tool on Garbodor at this point. This is going to be a really strange ending.
Yeah, but it's almost at the point of what other options do you have, right? It's like there's not much left you can do.
Yeah, I think he's going to Ultra Ball for Garbodor, saying, you know what, if you have a Lysander, you can bring out Garbodor, but nothing you have knocks it out. Charizard can do 80, so I do want to evolve my Trubbish, but I don't want to put the tool on Garbodor because then I can get stuck. This way, if I have a Darkness Energy, I can at least retreat after a Lysander. So he's going to go for the Night Spear. He has the Lysander in hand, so if Ross doesn't win here, Yoneda will win next turn, but Ross does have an opportunity to win here.
Oh yeah, if he has a Lysander, Laser, and a Wing Attack. Oh, there's the
Oh,
Lysander.
no.
There's the Laser
Oh.
Wing Attack. Oh man,
No way.
Charizard.
Charizard just used the Wing Attack to win? Oh, and Ross shows off the Charizard for the camera. I can't believe what I just saw.
Oh man, that Charizard getting in there for major damage at the end. He was kind of like he's kind of foreshadowing the beginning of the game. He's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm here." And at the end, he's like, "I'm the last one standing." All right.
Well, you were calling for it the whole game, but Charizard does come in for the sweep at the end. I still can't believe what I saw. That was a crazy game with just two unusual decks, and hey, nothing but the Top Cut Invitational could feature a game like that.
Yeah, sometimes people play standard decks, but sometimes people try to meta game like the other 7 players in the Invitational, and they'll end up playing these weird decks. Like Jason always plays something weird. Ross is playing something weird this year, so yeah.
Yeah, well, looks like Ross Cawthon will advance to the top 4 here. He will join Sugiyoshi Yamato out of his pod. And then on the other side, we have Sammy Sakum and Ryan Sablehouse. So a very, very good top 4. Congratulations to all the players who advanced. Unfortunately, Yoneda will be limited after this loss, but we have some exciting matches still to come.
Oh yeah, definitely excited for all the matches. Maybe Ryan can two-beat it, or maybe someone can steal it from him, and maybe Sammy makes it to another finals. It's really pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. We have actually Ryan facing off against Yamato, so we will have a two-time finalist no matter what. Both of those are previous champions, so I am excited to see the result of the tournament.
Yep, same here.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching round number 3 here from the Top Cut Invitational. We will be back from the top 4. I am Kyle Sucevich with Michael Pramawat, and we'll see you guys for the next round.